Going to start this video by asking you a question. Who do you think is the best boss in Dark Souls 1? Say it out loud. Anyone you're living with. As a psychic, I've predicted that you have chosen Artorias. A few among you may have said Manus or Ornstein, Smo or Calamite, but Artorias is really the golden child of Dark Souls 1, and even after more than a decade since its release, he still remains in a lot of people's top 10s. Personally, I believe that 1. Manus is by far the best boss in Dark Souls 1, like he clears everyone massively except maybe Calamite, and I also do not believe Artorias is top 50 FromSoft. Now, before you comment, oh my god, Artorias is my king and you think he sucks, fuck you. This is just my opinion. If you like him, that's perfectly fine. And 2, I don't hate Artorias. I think he's a solid 7 out of 10 B tier boss. Personally, I'd put him above like Voort, but below someone like Kyobu or like Nosta. Not Animus though, Animus fucking blows Artorias out of the water. That is enough waffle though. I'll get into why I actually think Artorias is overrated now. But before that, I'll be positive. I'll talk about what I like about Artorias. I think the gimmick of buffing up mid-fight and that being interruptible was an interesting mechanic that adds a bit of variety in the fight, and his big leap and spin attack is admittedly really cool. I also think the fact that he's built up throughout the entire base game and then fighting him in the DLC is like a total loser is pretty cool. Well, not cool, but like interesting. And it's pretty funny that he got whooped by Manus. He's like the Gecko Moria of Dark Souls. And
he helps people, and he flies, and he helps people.
Now, I am no scholar, but I would say I have a decent grasp of the Dark Souls lore. To give you a Cliff Notes MS Paint Dark Souls lore for Dummies version, there's this guy named Artorias. He has a cool sword, a lame shield, and a dog named Sif. He works as a knight for Gwyn, the Lord of the Lands. Gwyn is really scared of the Abyss, and Artorias has an AliExpress run which lets him traverse the Abyss, which is where today's story begins. A serpent named Kath has convinced the citizens of a place named Elysium to revive the primordial man, a guy named Manus. Manus was not happy with this, and this led to him creating an abyssal chasm in Elysium and making all the residents evil. 4. Gwyn then tells Artorias to go sort out the abyssal chasm and kill whoever is responsible for this. It doesn't go well. Manus beats the ever-loving shit out of Artorias, and Artorias flees the chasm of the abyss somehow, and not wanting to harm his dog Sif, leaves her in the chasm with his great shield to protect her. It's a cool moment, but I don't know what his plan was if no one else showed up. And the exact time frame in the DLC is unknown, but assumedly pretty soon after leaving the chasm, the CT Manus gave Artorias causes him to go insane and start attacking the also corrupted Elysium citizens. And when he's in the Elysium Colosseum, he meets the player character, our chosen undead, and gets a shit pushed in a second time in his visit. His lore's okay. They definitely have a better job conveying the emotion when the Sith fight than they do with the Artorias fight, I think. I think him protecting Sith is a sad moment, but his backstory just doesn't resonate with me the way bosses like the Ivory King, Gale, or even his own dog Sith do. Obviously, this is fully subjective and you're entitled to disagree. Now, most of my issues lie with the actual fight with Artorias, or at least his moveset. It's pretty small. he has maybe 7 moves. Well, maybe 8 if you're including the AoE from his boost, his buff, whatever. Like, the fight is just so standard to me. He doesn't have any real combos. It's just single strikes with pretty huge openings, and he doesn't hit particularly hard. Never that much danger. But what really gets me is the fact that he's the Christopher Columbus of Soulsborne when people act like he's the Leif Erikson. Volkswagen Lant is the Leif Erikson. He does everything Artorias does better and more. Alant has combos, Alant has visual flair, Alant has more aura, Alant has a far better theme, although there's few people in Soulsborne, maybe like Caligo and Consort, maybe like Gascoigne too, a better theme than Alant. And now, you might say in response to this, well, yeah, he was never going to have a moveset on the level of Malenia, Ishin, even Sullivan or like Champion Gundyr. And I'd agree. I think the fact that he's in Dark Souls 1 places a cap on his quality. Because FromSoft didn't give any of them really complex movesets. Hell, even Manus, who's definitely the fastest boss in Dark Souls 1, would seem like he's moving with the urgency of a Texas National Guardsman if he was a boss in Elden Ring, or, God forbid, Night Rain. Even bosses I like more than Artorias, like ONS or Calamite, can only make A tier, and Manus, who's my clear favourite, I think I've said that about 15 times already, barely scrapes S tier. Still love him though. Now, I'm not advocating for a remake because I don't want Dark Souls Kiwami where they recast Gwyneth Epstein or Dark Souls Delta where it's rendered like a porn game on Steam, but the movesets just aren't as advanced compared to today's. And I know some people prefer a slower, simpler style, and again, that's totally fine. This is just my opinion, and that is that I prefer faster bosses. So, in conclusion, in my opinion, Artorias is pretty outdated and I also think he's really overrated. If you disagree, that's fine. Leave a comment if you want, tell me what appeals to you about Artorias. Well, either way, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, even if you didn't agree, drop a sub, since I'm pretty close to 100. I'm not sure what we'll do next since I'm kind of out of items to talk about, so maybe another video about a boss I actually do love, or one that I really do hate, since this was just a boss that I kinda liked, I have a few issues with. Maybe I'll do more Dark Souls love for dummies. Also, I have a few shout outs to make. My friend Zed Howler made a channel where it's him playing games or watching stuff with me and a few other friends, watch along and reacting as well. It's just discussing random funny stuff. I think part 1 of him playing Lies of P, where I'm on commentary, will be up by now, and yeah, he's playing through that, and let's watch some interesting YouTube horror. Another shout out I have to give is to Overwatch 2 fan, who says that if I can get people to sub to him, he'll stop coming up to me in real life and begging me. Both their channels will be linked in the description. Like, subscribe, share, etc. See ya.